What's up, and welcome to the Los Wise Guys podcast. I'm your host, Eslam, aka Raw God of the Sun, accompanied by Dan, Papa Sun Killer, and Dan Emperor Disco.
I waved.
What?
I waved. They just couldn't
Oh,
see
okay. So the reason why our cameras are off is we are doing a Halloween episode, and we're going to reveal our costumes in just a second, and then we're going to jump into our main topic for today. So I'm going to start us off with the costumes. I'll turn on my camera. What's up, everybody?
I love it so much.
Oh my
What's
God,
up?
that is so
I am
perfect.
Avatar Ra, God of the Sun. How's it going?
So
That is fucking awesome.
So I just want to say that's the perfect shade of blue. Like,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
like my God, like you.
I
nailed
went
it.
on. I was like, what's the fastest thing I can do? Because I can't
Yeah.
put a costume together real quick. So
Yeah.
I went online. I found like blue body paint. I was like, this blue looks really well. It looks really good. I was like, I got it. They came in these little like almost like lipstick.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
see
then
this.
it was really easy to do the shape with them.
Did you put like tape or you just freehanded that? Because
No,
that looks pretty dang good.
I free-handed it.
Nice.
Plus, I used my straight razor to kind of shape
Oh,
it.
to like, okay, yeah. That
so-
came out good. They need to cast you.
This
I want
was
to
my
see you in the Netflix live action.
this was my second try, so I think it came out
Nice.
pretty well. Yeah,
Oh yeah, honestly, very well.
and I'm wearing the red, for the
Yeah.
Great way to utilize the bald head. It just fits.
I know.
Dude,
It's-
that's impressive.
It's
Honestly, it's so good yet so simple. I think that's why I love it. It's like
Yeah.
the easiest, coolest thing I can do.
So it's funny. So before we started, I actually did get a glimpse of it before we officially started the podcast, and it's funny because I was coming in here with the idea of getting ready to ask Eslam, hey, should we do cameras off? As soon as I saw this, I was like, yeah, we have to do cameras off. I need this to be a reveal. Like you have to reveal the arrow.
Yeah, boy.
Like it's just so it's amazing. I love this. Thank you. Eslam. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I think Avatar is going to be my go-to costume from now on because it's so
There you go. There you go.
It's gonna be I was also thinking of like painting the inside of my eyelids, then closing them for like the
Nice.
Avatar state, but I
Oh.
didn't have time. I
Yeah.
can do it on here, but we'll see. Well, maybe.
Get like an eye filter or something.
Yeah.
Have you ever painted your eyelids before?
No, that's probably why I.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
that's kind of weird. You're gonna poke your eyeball out.
but
Who wants to go next? Dan, you want next, or you want me to go?
I could go next. Yeah, since we're talking about the painting of eyelids.
Okay. I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Yeah, it's here. I'll do it real quick. It's
Wait, hold
it's
on. Let
nothing.
me put you on the big
It's
screen.
nothing really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what's
so-
crazy?
Mhm.
Sorry to cut you off, but like I literally got off the bus on my way home, and
And
there
I was
a-
there.
I think it was you because there was a dude across the street like that had like similar face paint. I was like, "What's going on?"
You know what? It is what it is. Yeah. So it's I was like, we gotta do something quick, and I've always been of the mind of like, if you don't have to try hard. Here's the secret to a good Halloween costume, and Eslam nailed it. Get some face paint.
Yeah.
You get face paint on you, it's already considered a good Halloween costume. You don't even have to try anymore. And have you guys noticed most of my costumes you see over the years usually involve face paint?
True.
What are you exactly though?
I don't know. It's like a long time ago. What's up, Rudy? This is the reaction I wanted.
You walked into our
This is the
costume
reaction I
reveals.
wanted.
It's our Halloween episode.
So a long time ago, I did Baron
Disgusting.
Samedi. I did Baron Samedi, and I was just like, that's the only time I ever did face paint with a beard. And I was just curious. I was like, I have a longer beard now than I did then. What if I try to do something similar to Baron Samedi and just get the beard involved somehow? And this is what I came up with.
Nice.
So yeah, just having fun with it.
Looks good. Looks
Good
good.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Scary.
it's Disco's turn.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Rudy.
You just noticed your head. Perfect.
Nice.
Holy shit!
See, I couldn't wait because I was like, Disco's gonna put together something that I don't know what it is, and I just can't wait.
I honestly, this was very last minute too. I was
Yeah.
working on the ChatGPT story, and I was like, "Oh shit, costume!"
Yep.
And like you said, last minute, it just easy. put together fast. And
Yep.
Now
you
I know
can't
that's
go
an
wrong with
anime
Tigger.
sword. I just can't tell whose it is right now.
Yeah.
I don't know whose it is, honestly, either. I got it from a Comic-Con. I think it's something Zenith or something with a Z.
Okay.
But it has like moons. If anybody
Yeah,
wants to
Yeah,
put
that looks
comment in the
familiar,
comments,
if it was purple, I would have thought it was Odin's sword from One Piece, but because it's orange, that's what threw me off. So I wasn't sure because it has like a similar design, but that's pretty cool.
yeah. And then my normal little plague doctor mask got actually broken in half.
See that?
I was so upset when I found it, but I still managed to make it work. And then of
Then you
course,
got Tigger.
and then I got Tigger.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I'm just a soft, little, cute, little Disney character.
So that's the thing. Over the years, I've seen Disco just put things together, and it always works.
It
And
does.
you know what? That's why it's just like this is another thing where it's just like I want to see what Disco is going to put together because he's going to put some random stuff together, and I'm going to enjoy it every time. So thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, honestly, I was blown by your guys' costumes, especially Eslam, the first one.
Eslam,
Avatar.
like, that's what I was like. It has to be revealed, dude. That Avatar one is perfect.
Yeah, classic.
Thank you.
That was
I
amazing.
appreciate it. All right, so let's jump into our topic for today. So we are doing a Halloween themed episode. Obviously, we have the costumes. And then the other thing we did for the Halloween episode is that we got GPT, we put in some prompts, and we each created a horror themed story that we will share with you guys today. We will each read our own story, and then the other two will try to guess the prompt and how we kind of got to it, and then we will reveal our prompts and our process. I don't know who he's talking. Is he talking?
He's
about
talking to me. He's obsessed with me.
Yeah.
I've been drinking a lot of red Powerade.
Yeah.
So that plus everything else is so pale accentuates the red lips even further.
I guess
so
so.
that's why.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I guess
Also,
I'll
not
keep
a Santa Claus. I take that as an insult because you know how I feel about Christmas. We did a whole episode about that.
True.
You were
true.
on it. And yeah.
No, that's not. I'll just keep it like this.
Have you seen the Terrifier?
I have not. I've not seen any of the Terrifiers, which is a sin.
I thought you were gonna be with the black eyes. You kind of reminded me of him for a split second, and then I was like, I don't think it is him.
Nah, it's really just I put some shit together. It's slightly inspired by a previous Baron Samedi costume I did years ago.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Nice.
I see.
Um,
It's Abe Lincoln.
we Nadia and I just recently saw The Substance.
Oh, that one was good.
Yeah, it was a pretty.
I
good movie.
loved it.
It was long.
Substance.
It was
long. It was long, but it was good.
It didn't need that extra ending. Like spoilers,
No.
it didn't need that end part. Me and my
No,
wife
it
were
didn't.
like, it could have stopped there. Like,
So one,
like,
I haven't
it's
seen
like-
this. Also, what is The Substance?
It's
It's
a
a movie
horror
that came
movie.
out,
It's
yeah.
like it's not your typical horror movie, but it's like a suspenseful. Like
Yeah.
it has like horror elements towards the end where it gets like gory and stuff, but not like jump
it
scares
felt
or
like
anything.
it felt
that.
like they like flipped the switch on the gore. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
But, like that last 20 minutes, we did not need to see that. Like that
I
was just
totally
like I don't think
agree.
it.
I was all right
I
before they
loved-
did that last cycle of whatever they were
Yeah,
doing.
I loved
was
it
like,
up until like almost the end. Like
It
the
could
last
have
20
ended at
minutes.
2, like you
Yeah.
know, just but
But otherwise,
Yep.
it was pretty good.
yep.
Um,
I guess
But
in the Halloween spirit, check out The Substance. It was a horror movie,
we also saw Uglies on
How is it?
Netflix.
I haven't watched it.
No,
It was meh.
that's what it looks like. It
Yeah,
looks like
because like they have like similar concepts, but they take them in very different directions. So that's why we watched both of them. We watched the Uglies first, and then The Substance.
Mhm.
But the Substance was way fucking better.
I don't know why anybody would agree to that though. The whole time I'm just thinking, why? Like,
Yeah.
why? But I guess that's like the message. People, society.
I think it's
do
very
build a lot of fundamentals on looks, and so when your looks fade,
'Cause
you
very
do get
Hollywood
desperate.
oriented. And I
Yep.
think that was the whole thing of it. Because like you see a lot of these Hollywood starlets that
they have a
like,
decent cast.
when they get old. Yeah, no, they had a great cast.
Mhm.
When they get older, like they start doing all these like plastic surgeries, and then they end up looking horrible. But it's like it becomes like this mental illness of like I forgot what it's called. It's like some type of dysmorphia, but whatever.
Body
That's
dysmorphia,
besides. Yeah,
age
body
dysmorphia
dysmorphia.
or something.
Body dysmorphia, I think it is. But that's besides the point.
Yeah. Tangent.
Yes.
Welcome to our Halloween episode.
Yeah, we'll get back to our Halloween. All right. So, does anybody want to go first with the story?
Up to you guys. I don't really care.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Find mine.
I'll go first. Okay, so I guess I'll just read the story, and then the only thing I'll say is it's.
Hey, that's
what
my
it
wife.
is. That's what the story is.
Welcome to our horror episode. I got ghosts in here.
Yeah.
that ghost
That's
can
my
sing,
beautiful
bro.
wife. She said, "Yeah, bitch, yeah."
Yo,
I
that
want
was
a ghost to
hilarious.
haunt somebody, and that's the sound they make. Oh, the ghost is back. Yeah.
You wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Yeah.
It's like, shut up.
Oh my god.
Another
awful.
quick side tangent. Disco, did you show her the Office ranking from last episode?
I did.
How does she feel about
For
it?
the most part, she agreed. I
good.
think she agreed with the majority of it. Yeah. She
Yes,
If
agreed
anybody
with
hasn't seen
everything.
that, please
It
check
was
it.
very.
I was
I
like,
think
that's
it
a
was
very
very
accurate
solid.
ranking.
Yeah.
Dude, the ranking is so good. I haven't stopped thinking about it.
That was a really good ranking.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, for real. Honestly, we got to do more of those tier
Yeah.
tier lists with all three of
Tier
us.
list, yep. Absolutely.
All right. So my story, I went the slasher route. The only thing, and there's a little bit of mysticism to it, but hopefully it's. I feel like it's not super duper horror, but like it'll get there eventually. But I did this very quickly because I was like had a deadline for work and I was busy. But let's start with the story. The story is called The Widowmaker.
Ooh.
All right, let's start. It had been 100 years since Leela Davenport's life had ended and begun again. She stood under the cold light of a street lamp, watching her prey stumble out of the dive bar. Too drunk to notice the shadow that followed him, 100 years of hunting of stalking men like him. Men who preyed on women, believing they were untouchable in the darkness, but Lila um, had long ago made the darkness her ally. Her target tonight was Eddie, a predator hiding in plain sight. She'd watched him force himself on a woman behind the bar earlier, his hand gripping her throat while she gasped for air. He left her sobbing in the alley as he sauntered back inside for another drink, obviously to the eyes, oblivious to the eyes watching him. Now, as Eddie fumbled with his car keys trying to steady himself, Lila's lips curved into a predatory smile. He would know real fear tonight. He finally managed to unlock his car, slipping into the driver's seat, but when he tried to start the engine, nothing happened. His frustration was visible as he cursed and slapped the steering wheel. Still, the car remained dead. Lila moved silently, slipping around the side of the vehicle. She had already disabled. She had already disabled it. Eddie was trapped, though he didn't know it yet. He groaned, popping the hood and stumbling out to check the engine. That's when Lila struck. Stepping out of the shadows, she moved with a quiet grace, reaching him just as he bent over the engine. "Need help?" she asked, her voice a low whisper that cut through the night. Eddie jolted upright, slamming his head into the open hood with a dull thud. He cursed, turning to her face, but his bloodshot eyes were still full of confidence. "What the hell do you want?" Lila said nothing. She stepped closer, letting the silence stretch as her gaze locked in onto his. She could feel the hunger building inside her, the anticipation of the life she would soon drain from him. "Listen, lady, I don't know what your deal is, but..." His words were cut short as Lila's hand shot out, grabbing his throat. Eddie's eyes widened in shock, his hands flying up to claw at her wrists, but it was useless. Her grip was iron. She leaned in, her lips brushing his ears. You like hurting women, Eddie? She whispered, her voice a dark promise. Let me show you what it feels like. Before he could respond, Layla slammed him back against the car with a force that sent blood splattering from his nose. Eddie gasped for air, but she didn't let up. Instead, she gripped his hair and yanked his head back, exposing his throat. A wicked smile played on her lips as she drew a small blade from her pocket. Is it going to hurt? She murmured. A lot. She drew the blade slowly across his cheek, savoring the way his skin split under the pressure, watching the blood pool before dripping down onto his shirt. Eddie let out a strangled cry, his eyes darting around in panic, but there was no escape. Beg, she said, her voice a whisper of amusement. But please, Eddie sputtered. The words caught in his throat as she pressed the blade against his chest, just enough to draw blood, but not enough to end him quickly. Oh, we're not there yet, she said with a smile, not even close. Layla's foot connected with his ribs, sending him sprawling on the pavement. She watched him wither in pain, his breath coming in shallow gasps as blood streamed down his face and neck. She kicked him again, harder this time, hearing the satisfying crack of bones beneath her foot. The sight of his blood, the sound of his pain, it ignited something in her, the hunger for more. She crouched beside him, her voice soft now, almost soothing. This is what you deserve, Eddie. This is what every woman you've ever hurt wanted to do to you. She gripped his head and slammed it against the ground once, twice, the dull crack of his skull meeting the concrete echoing in the quiet street. But even as his body began to give away, she didn't stop. She was savoring it, every last second. With a full twist, Layla snapped his neck, the sound of the bone breaking, filling the silence. And then she stood over his lifeless body. It happened. The rush of energy, the life force, flooding into her. She felt her wounds close, her body growing stronger, the subtle tightening of her skin as her youth was restored. It was intoxicating, and it surged through her. She could almost hear the echoes of her past, the first time she had felt this power. 100 years earlier, Layla was uh, Layla was dying. Her body lay crumbled in the alley, blood seeping from the stab wound in her abdomen. She clutched at it, trying to hold herself together, but she could feel the life slipping away from her. Her attacker, a man whose face could barely remember, lay a few feet away. She had managed to stab him with the broken bottle, and now he lay there, his lifeless eyes staring up at the night sky. Her vision blurred, darkness creeping in at the edges, and for a moment she thought it was over. She would die here, in the filthy alley, just another nameless victim of man's violence. But then something changed. The darkness didn't take her. Instead, she felt a strange warmth, a pull of deep in, a pull from deep inside her chest. It wasn't death; it was life. Her hands, slick with her own blood, began to tremble as she felt the the pull grow stronger. The man's body twitched, and Layla gasped, watching in horror as his skin seemed to wither before her eyes, his features hollowing out as if something was being drained from him. And then she felt it, a surge of energy rushing into her, filling her veins with warmth and vitality. The pain in her abdomen began to fade, the blood slowing, her wound closing as if it had never been there. She looked down at her hands, clean now, the blood gone, her skin smooth, unblemished, and when she touched her stomach, the wound disappeared. Layla staggered to her feet, her heart pounding in her chest. She was alive. She had killed him, and somehow by killing him, she had taken his life into herself. The horror of it was overwhelming, but as the days passed, Layla began to understand the man she had killed had given her life. His death was his death had restored her, and with each passing day she realized something even more extraordinary. She wasn't aging. Her body had remained the same, her youth untouched by time. She was immortal, and she knew what she had to do with this power. Yeah.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you.
I like it. I was wondering how long before somebody snapped at somebody.
Yeah, I'm not good at reading out loud.
I was trying so hard not to laugh.
I know I fucked up a lot, but it's just,
no, it's not. No, I'm laughing at Rudy's statements.
No, yeah. No, I'm really not that good at reading out loud.
Real quick, Eslam, you want to get rid of that logo on the right, top right?
Sorry, 1 second.
You're good. But no, story, I enjoyed it very much. What's it called? There was like that 2-parter to it. Yeah. I like that, how we kind of got like a little bit of an origin in there even.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
I like the time jump was definitely a nice touch. We actually have somewhat similar themes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
not me. Not at all.
So you should go next to kind of separate it. So that
I'm down for that.
Do you guys want to? I guess first guess the prompt or.
Yeah. So there's a couple things. So obviously you put in like short horror story, and then I don't know, man, because it's tough. It's just I don't know if you did you use the prompt supernatural?
No.
Did you put like dark spirit or something?
No.
Dexter?
I think I did put Dexter.
Yeah.
Put Dexter.
Yeah, or something in the vein of Dexter. That, and then did you put superpowers?
I put ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Regain life, or like youth.
I mean, I kind of in my prompt I wrote a little bit of the story in it.
Yeah.
And then what ended up happening is that it kind of like broke down into these pieces, and then I gave it 2 more prompts to help it write it in like a short story form.
I see.
No, definitely liked it. Mine, I don't know about the length of yours, Disco. Mine's definitely gonna be shorter than that.
Mine's kind of long actually.
You guys want me to read the prompt?
If you, I don't have my prompt offhand, but yeah, if you want to read yours,
I just have my Chat GPT open, so
go for it.
Yeah.
I told it to help me write a horror story about a woman who discovered she has the ability to gain the life force of someone she kills, and then she can live longer. She realized she got this power when she was attacked as a young woman and killed her attacker, but was mortally wounded. Once she killed him, she was able to heal quickly. She then started killing men who did evil things to other women and realized she aged very slowly. 100 years later, she is still alive and continues her work. I want to expand the story and make it a slasher horror type story, make the murders long and gruesome. I want her to play with her kills like a huntress. She puts the same fear into her prey that they have inflicted themselves. Please come up with a cool serial killer name for our character. So that was my first prompt, and then the second prompt I added. I said this was a good first draft. Let's change the ending a little. After she kills Eddie and the energy is flooding into her body, we should add a flashback to her first kill mentioned in the breakdown above, and she has realized she had this ability. The murder also needs to be more brutal and horror-like. Make the story longer if need be to add more these details. And yeah, that was it.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, definitely liked it. Yeah, man.
That's actually really cool. I like that you could use it differently because I use it way differently.
Yeah, I mean everybody's gonna use it differently. That's what's so interesting about it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. You that's like kind of made like a passage from the story and just like, okay, finish that. That's really nice. That's really cool.
That's why when I
So
was
I'm
telling you
interested
guys,
to
I wrote
see.
like
Yeah.
when I was telling you guys, I wrote like 7 different ones. I mean, I did honestly probably like 20 to 30. I saved 7 of them because it was just like
Oh
there was
yeah,
just like
totally.
different ways that they were kind of flowing and everything. So yeah, I'll read mine real quick. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot shorter, and for the sake of for Rudy there, I'll do my best to do a voice while I do it. If it somehow turns out to be somewhat a really bad like British accent occasionally from time to time, you know, it is what it is. This is what we're here for.
I'm in the
So
same boat. I was like practicing mine before. I was like, why am I turning
I
British?
was reading it and it was coming out sort of British. I just couldn't help it. So I was just like, it might happen.
Yeah.
But all right. So mine's called The Sound of Growth. All right.
Oh.
Sound of growth. Interesting.
So in the dim shadow chamber, I lay swaddled, an innocent yet burdened soul. The room's oppressive silence clung to the air like a shroud, pierced only by the faintest murmur of my mother's lullabies, which morphed into haunting echoes of despair. A sensation grew within me, a tumultuous, restless ache, twisting and turning, yearning for release. It was not hunger that gnawed at my fragile essence, but a dark pressure, a malevolent force that swelled with each heartbeat. I felt it, a weight pressing upon my tender chest, threatening to consume me whole. My tiny limbs, though feeble, thrashed against the confines of my blanket, but it was futile. The shadowy presence loomed larger, pressing down as if seeking to suffocate my very being. Oh, the terror of it! I gasped a mere whisper in the night, my cries swallowed by the vast, empty darkness. Then came the specter of my mother. Her face an ethereal mask of concern, yet her hands, those gentle instruments, seemed like talons, ready to extract the essence of my torment. She lifted me, her heart drumming with an urgency that mirrored my own. And as she patted my back, I felt the abyss within me twist and writhe, demanding liberation. With a shuddered gasp, I released a dreadful burden. A guttural sound escaped my lips, echoing through the silence, a dark, mocking laugh that reverberated against the walls. In that instant, the weight lifted, but something sinister lingered in the air, a disquiet that made the shadows dance with glee. I gazed into her eyes, wide with terror, for in that moment, I was no longer just a babe. I was the harbinger of something far more dreadful, a whisper of unseen horrors that dwell just beyond the veil, waiting for a chance to rise. That's the end of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good shit. I want to know
Did
what.
you use a Edgar Allan Poe style?
100%. I said right
Nice.
in the style of Edgar Allan Poe. I
Nice.
did put that on. I did put that in later on, though.
Yeah.
So did I actually.
Nice.
That is so funny.
Yeah, a
I
couple
like
mine.
created the
A couple
bare
mine.
bones like outline of what I wanted, and then I was like, Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, put a little Edgar Allan Poe on this real quick.
I actually, once I discovered that maneuver, I was like, actually, let me try Stephen King. Let me try
Oh, dude,
Dean
I did a
Koontz.
couple.
Let me try Anne
I
Rice.
was like,
me
let me
try.
get Jeff Lindsay in there. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I did a couple.
I
And I
tried
was just
some author I didn't even know, Alma Katsu. I'm just like, let's just see.
like,
Yeah.
but that was a great spot on. You got there, Disco. Anything else? Any other prompts?
I think I did the Edgar Allan Poe so much that there's some of the verbiage I like remembered. I was like laughing when you were reading.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the specter, I was like, that sounds very
Oh, that's
familiar.
So I'm gonna guess that you did something with like spirits and ghosts or like malevolent spirits.
No,
No, damn.
that's just Poe.
Oh, okay.
Poe does it himself. I don't have to.
That language he uses is very like vibrant, but dark. All right. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Other than that, Poe, I like.
So a bit, I'll tell you, because I was thinking it's like okay, because by this point I'd already written at least 20 different ones. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I myself, I like horror movies, and I feel horror movies are good when comedy is introduced. So
I see.
I was like, what's something so mundane that I can make sound good if I put Edgar Allan Poe on it?
Oh, did
And
you
I thought,
like a lullaby?
no, it's just a baby burping.
That's
I
fucking
see.
genius, bro.
So that whole thing was just a from the perspective. I typed in write a short horror story from the perspective of a baby burping, in the style of Edgar Allan Poe.
That's why he was like, I'm just a baby.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it literally
That's
starts in the
amazing.
dim shadow chamber. I lay swaddled in an
Yeah.
innocent yet burdened soul.
Yeah.
The way he describes it, though, I just pictured like a chamber, like an old time,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
That's
And then he
That is
goes,
funny.
it's just
That
like,
is so
and
funny.
as she patted my back, I felt the abyss within me twist and writhe, demanding liberation.
Oh my god, that is so funny. Now that you're
Now-
like pointing
yeah,
it
now
out,
that you
it totally
mention
makes
it.
sense. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's babies.
It's just a baby burping.
Oh,
hilarious.
shoot, that is crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I have like 4 of them in that style. Yeah, I was just like having way too much fun with this.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. Good shit.
All right.
Disco.
I have like a million prompts, to be honest, and mine's kind of long, so buckle down. Let's get the show on the road.
Let's do it.
Let me calm my nerves for a second. All right. My story is called The Watch of Azrael.
You brought Azrael to this. Okay. I dig it.
Chapter 1, A Shadow
My man
Diagnosis.
got chapters. My man got chapters. How long?
No, honestly, I feel bad. I got like 13 chapters. I'm like,
I have a
damn.
question. Did you type in short story?
Oh,
I wrote horror story, and it started out as short story, but then I was like, nope, I need this to happen. I need this to happen.
He said
I need
chapter
My man said,
one.
I want to write a book today.
Yo, he caught me off guard with that chapter 1, bro. I was like,
Man, I
oh,
wrote a poem, bro. Like,
Yo.
you gotta,
god
my man has
damn.
a series. Like,
My bad. I took this one. I went hard with it.
Okay, chapter 1.
Chapter 1, A Shadow Diagnosis.
Oh,
In the dim and suffocating silence of a decaying mansion, I, Alistair Grimshaw, sat brooding in a chamber draped in shadows, the air heavy with the scent of mildew and despair. The once vibrant walls, now faded and peeling, bore witness to the torment that plagued my mind. My heart, a hollow drum, echoed the cruel verdict bestowed upon me by the merciless hands of fate. A terminal illness creeping over closer like a specter, ready to claim its due. My days blended into one another, each hour bleeding into the next, while my nights were tormented by nightmares that ensnared my soul in a wretched embrace. It was during one of these wretched vigils that the demon first whispered to me, a voice woven from the darkness, smooth and seductive, promising salvation through malevolence. Chapter 2, The Devil's Watch. In the suffocating depths of my slumber, I was transported to a wicked maze, its labyrinth paths lined with the echoes of my fears. Here, amidst the shadows, I heard the enchanting voice call to me, Alistair. The sound wrapped around me like a silken shroud, pulling me deeper into the abyss. Drawn inexorably toward a glimmering light, I found myself standing before a watch, its face adorned with grotesque symbols that danced in the gloom. This was no ordinary timepiece. It was the devilish creation of Azrael, the malevolent spirit who would soon be my companion. I granted you years beyond your mortal reckoning. I grant you years beyond your mortal reckoning, Azrael purred. But now that my gift requires a price, you shall feast upon the life force of others to stave off your own demise. Chapter 3, The Dance of Shadows. As the sun rose and set in a rhythm that marked the passage of time, my existence morphed into a dark ballet of death. Azrael and I became inseparable, a twisted partnership forged in the fires of despair. Each life I claimed, a hapless victim whose essence I devoured, granted me precious years, a cruel barter that ignited the darkness within my soul. Yet within the maelstrom of chaos, I discovered a kindred spirit, Isolde, a hauntingly beautiful young woman ensnared by her own demon, an ancient and feminine force known as Lilith. Her laughter echoed in the corridors of my mind, a melody that resonated with the darkest corners of my heart. Together we danced upon the precipice of madness, a symphony of violence and passion, drawn ever closer into the embrace of insanity. Do you feel it? Isolde would whisper, her eyes glimmering with delight as we reveled in the carnage of our victims. We are bound by blood and shadows. Chapter 4, a dark romance. Our days melted into a haze of destruction, and I relished every drop of blood spilled. Together, we orchestrated a series of gruesome performances, a twisted romance blooming amid the bodies that lay strewn about like discarded dreams. Yet, as our wicked love deepened, so too did our depravity. I grew envious of Isolde's connection with Lilith, sensing the ancient spirit's whispers intertwining with her own dark desires. A tempest brewed within me, a jealousy that threatened to consume the very essence of my being. Chapter 5: The Arrival of the Unknown. Then, without warning, the heavens roiled and churned, giving birth to a sinister phenomenon. Alien ships, gleaming and monstrous, descended upon our world like a plague of locusts. The Krenari, beings of insatiable hunger, abducted Isolde and me, imprisoning us within their technological hell. Trapped aboard their vessel, we played the part of helpless captives, but the demon within us stirred restlessly. When the aliens threatened our lives, Azrael and Lilith erupted into a symphony of chaos. We were no longer prey, but predators, and in that moment we unleashed our darkest selves. Chapter 6: Chaos Unleashed. The ship trembled as we lashed out, our demons entwined, a tempest of shadow and malice that engulfed our captors. With each scream, the Krenari fell victim to their own arrogance, succumbing to the twisted hallucinations conjured by Azrael and Lilith. "Let them taste despair," Isolde screamed, her voice mingling with the cacophony of destruction. I felt the surge of power, a primal force that coursed through my veins, igniting my spirit with an ecstasy that transcended all earthly bonds. As the alien ranks disintegrated, I reveled in the annihilation we wrought. The ships trembled and shuddered, breaking apart as they fell toward the earth, our laughter mingling with the sounds of chaos. Chapter 7: The Aftermath of Despair. But our victory was short-lived. As the wreckage rained down, the government descended upon us, an army fueled by fear and desperation. They stormed the scene, guns raised, determined to extinguish the flames of chaos we had ignited. In the battle that ensued, I fought alongside Isolde, our demons entwined in a dance of death and destruction. Yet the tides of fate shifted, and amidst the chaos, a bullet found its mark. Isolde crumpled, lifeless at my feet. Chapter 8: The Rise of Darkness. Rage surged within me as Azrael lost its tenuous grip on my soul, transforming into an uncontrollable force. I felt the demon's power swell, a monstrous entity determined to unleash its wrath upon the world. "I will have my vengeance," it roared, the very ground trembling beneath its fury. The government forces fell before me like wheat before the scythe, their cries swallowed by the darkness that enveloped my heart. I realized then that I was but a puppet to Azrael's chaotic whims, trapped within the web of destruction that I had unwittingly spun. Chapter 9: A Desperate Reckoning. In my despair, I knew I had to confront Azrael. To save the world from the darkness that threatened to consume it, I had to summon the very souls I had devoured, my past victims, their whispers rising in the cold air around me. With trembling hands, I called upon them, invoking their lost essence, channeling their anger and sorrow into a weapon against the malevolent spirit that had become my master. "I will not be your pawn," I cried, my voice a chorus of defiance against the chaos that threatened to swallow the whole world. Chapter 10: The Final Confrontation. In a blinding flash of light, the soul surged through me, a tempest of life and death fueling my rebellion. I stood against Azrael, the embodiment of my darkest fears, a creature of chaos that sought to extinguish the light of hope. In that moment of reckoning, I felt their combined strength, my victims, my fears, pushing against the demon's grasp. With a final desperate cry, I expelled Azrael from my soul, the darkness dissipating into the ether like a wisp of smoke. Chapter 11: The Silence of Death. But the battle took its toll. As Azrael faded, I felt the weight of my cancer crashing down upon me, the darkness within me extinguished, leaving me vulnerable and alone. The light of life flickered and dimmed, my strength waning. "Isolde," I whispered, as I sank to the ground, the world around me fading into a blur of shadow and despair. Chapter 12: The Devil's Legacy. As the years passed, my story became but a whisper in the wind, a ghostly echo in the halls of forgotten memories. The watch, the harbinger of Azrael, lay abandoned amidst the ruins of my once vibrant life. Yet time is a cruel mistress, and fate is relentless. Decades later, it found its way into the hands of a curious soul, a young woman captivated by its beauty. Little did she know the malevolent spirit stirred within, awaking from its long slumber, ready to continue its reign of terror. Thus, the cycle began anew, a dance of darkness destined to repeat, as the watch of Azrael waited patiently for its next victim. And that's it. Fame.
12
Yeah.
chapters later, Jesus.
Wait, that was
It
12
was-
chapters?
It was long, yeah.
12
Where the fuck
chapters.
was the 13th? I thought you said it was 13 chapters.
No,
I'm over
no,
here
it was
waiting.
12. It was 12. It was
Son
12.
of a
My bad.
bitch.
I'm just
Oh my God.
The whole time, I'm like, all right, where's chapter 13? What's happening? All right.
Oh man.
That was long.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, it wasn't bad, Disco. Like,
No, it was-
I could tell it was you.
No, 100%.
Like-
Azrael, Lilith, the type
it's all
of
the
powers they
Alistair
had.
demons and stuff.
Yes,
Like I
yes.
was like,
Actually,
okay, yes.
Alistair is the Edgar Allan Poe, and actually Lilith was just I just put dark, like ancient energy or something.
Yeah, Lilith, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I liked it.
That was
what's it called?
definitely your style of story.
100%.
Because
I tried
also,
to incorporate like horror themes, like demon, like possessions, and then I was like,
also
aliens.
this just reminds me.
Aliens, and then there was like a war. Yeah.
This also
Yeah.
reminds me a lot of your comic book character that we created. Alistair. So, like he has like the ability to draw all this energy, and like he was doing something similar with Life Force, and like that's where my mind went to Cody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much he like was gonna die. He was the Edgar Allan Poe in the beginning I don't know if it made it clear, but he was diagnosed with a terminal illness.
Yeah.
And then he like the demon gave him life,
Yeah,
so
he
he would
succumbed to it.
they can't
Yeah.
not die. And then he found like another woman with like a demon in him, and they had like a little romance. And then aliens came, and then they the aliens thought they were helpless, but they're actually both have demons in them, and the demons ended up just fucking them up and turning them crazy, and the ships ended up falling from the skies. And then the government's not gonna just let that go unanswered. So the government was there, and they they'd never seen demons like that, so they like thought they were aliens, and so they thought they were like hostile aliens, so they just attacked. And eventually in the battle, Isolde gets killed, and the main character's demon goes into a rage, and he's not controllable anymore. And then eventually Alistair has to summon those energy of the people he killed and stop Azrael. But he never did. He didn't really stop Azrael, because like in the last chapter, he's still in the watch, and he's gonna find a new host.
I just want to point something out real quick. You're explaining that, and then you get to the part where it's just like, because the government's not going to allow demons to go ahead and like follow and just like fight aliens and stuff. And you're saying this with a very serious face, dressed up as Tigger. And while that's happening, I look the way I am, and Eslam has an arrow, like an airbender, and we're all just sitting here very seriously listening to what you have to say.
And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. We look insane.
That makes perfect sense.
I was just like, that's just that moment. I couldn't help but just start like, oh man, I was just like, this is real life.
This is a real episode.
Nah, this is definitely a simulation. This is definitely a simulation.
Oh man. Oh man. No, Disco, I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. Were those all the prompts, or did you put any other prompts in there?
Oh, I have like fucking 17 prompts. You want me to like read off of them real quick? Just
I have a question. Did you guys make an account on ChatGPT? I didn't bother making an account. I was like, I'm just
I made an account a while ago. I mean, I don't pay for it. I just
actually, I think I
Well, they have a
signed
free
in
one.
with Google or something. I was definitely using the free one though.
I didn't even
After-
do that.
after
I
a
legit
while-
just went in there. I was just like, I'm just gonna write a bunch of things and just copy.
No,
After
yeah,
a
I
while-
signed in with like Google to one of my emails,
No, I-
so
yeah,
all
I
my
didn't do
stuff
that.
is saved. Because
Yeah.
I've been
After a
playing
while,
around
I
with it
think
for a
they
while.
said. After a while, I think they said I did too many tries that they like dropped me down like a search engine or like a Chat GPT engine. I don't even know. After like I had found a groove, they were like, "Oh, you're using this too much for free" or some shit.
See, with me, I would use it. I was using it in different web browsers. Like at times, I was doing it on my computer, on my phone. Like I said, I've been doing it for a couple of days. So it's like I've just been going in and out. Oh, and I kind of I like to refresh because I realize ChatGPT sometimes remembers what you had in the previous thing.
Yeah.
And my stories were so different. I didn't want any overlapping things. Like I gave you guys this one story. I had another story that had to do with the cast of Hey Arnold.
Nice.
So it's just like that has nothing to do with
kind of
this.
want
Trust
to
me,
hear that one.
Eslam, I saved stories. Don't worry, you guys will get to
Okay.
hear someday.
Okay.
But yeah, no,
Nice.
there's a lot.
But this was fun, man. I really enjoyed doing this because I've been playing with ChatGPT since it came out, and a couple of other things, tries some things here and there, and story wise, and um, hopefully I'll be able to use it to help me structure Birthright. So we'll see what happens. I'm
They're about
definitely
to steal
enjoying the
our.
ride.
They're about to steal our $1 million ideas.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a lot of fun hearing everybody's perspective. I mean, Dan's had me blown away because it's like it's a baby burping, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, that was just amazing. Honestly, that was the best part of it. Like the base of the story. It's like we're at a horror story about a baby burping.
Yeah. Like I said, I got a couple like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, creative as fuck. I definitely give you points for that.
Yeah.
Hey, I like your guys. You guys, I feel like I can't. Like I said, I'm doing horror. If I do horror, I like to equate comedy in there, some form. So this is like my way of doing it. You guys went with like the actual storytelling. That's why I appreciate your guys' stuff a lot. My thing is just kind of like I'm just joking around. Like not one story I made was like serious. I have another one about like how much I hate the sun.
It's definitely fun though. Oh man, that would be nice.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like I got a couple different ones out there. Not one of them is just like, man, I could do something with this. Not
we
one.
Have another episode with another random stories. Just
oh man.
We should do like love stories for Valentine's Day. Make those.
Oh man,
that would be hilarious.
Oh, don't let me. Don't let me.
I'll
come up with some good shit.
I know. That's why I'm just like that would be so funny.
I'm about to make a space opera. Don't even get me started. It's gonna be 400 chapters.
My man said chapter 1.
Yo, that shit was wild. This goes like, all right, I'm gonna read my story. It's called this, chapter 1. I was like, what? And then he was like, chapter 10. I was like, all right, I think this is the last chapter. And then he was like, chapter 11. I was like, oh,
well,
shit.
I was prepared for the 13. My man hit 12 and said, okay, that's it.
I was like, oh shit.
Oh, man.
But the chapters
after a
were
while,
short,
I had so many prompts.
They were really short chapters. Yeah.
Yeah. After a while, I had so many prompts. They're just like, oh, chapters. This guy needs chapters.
Oh man.
Oh man. Did you guys use ChatGPT for the titles, or did you come up with the titles?
No, I used it for the titles. I told it to give me a.
I had pretty much the whole.
I had no like space in my brain to like come up with anything.
See, I was trying to use it. I couldn't think of anything, and that's when I came up with the Sound of Growth.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that's
that fucking works. So I was just like, I was trying with ChatGPT. I couldn't. I don't know.
The only name I made that I put in was Azrael. I just like that one.
No,
it's good. All right, final thoughts. Disco, why don't you start us off?
Oh man, I have fun with that. ChatGPT is about to. I don't even know what the hell I said.
I don't know what he said. What app are you using? We're using a different one.
ChatGPT or PTG or whatever the fuck he said.
PTSD over here. What's that?
It's my first time using ChatGPT. So it was fun for me. I started off with my first prompt. I had like 4 prompts, and eventually just like 30 prompts later, they're like 12 chapters here. But yeah, it was fun. It's nice to just kind of have an outline or like plant seeds, and then they'll just kind of build ideas off it.
It helps you organize your thoughts because you can write all your thoughts in and just throw them and like let it process them, and you could be like, all right, maybe I like this or that, use this, use that, and like get rid of this, and it helps you. What writers do manually, this does it for you. So shout outs to the writer because I don't think I could ever do that manually. Dan, what final thoughts?
Yeah, using Chat OPP, it's fun.
You know me.
That should be a dating app.
Chat OPP.
Yeah.
Oh man. But what's it called? No, it's fun. I mean, it's like you said, it's great for like organizing and stuff like that. Also, like if you could come up with something stupid like I did, and it's just like literally, it's just like telling yourself a story that's gonna make you laugh.
Yeah.
If you got like 5 minutes, you go ahead and do that. It's fun. Listen to Pete and Bass.
Yeah, Pete and Bass.
Yeah.
Shout outs. Go check out the reaction Disco and I did. That was way back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I'm mad I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My final thoughts. I think ChatGPT is a great tool to help you, even if you're like trying to think through something with your work or something. You can kind of like put in all the information, and it's not going to give you the solution, but it might give you the spark for the solution. It might help you, just give you that little extra nudge you need to get there. So if you think about it as a tool,
it's like a great creativity tool. Like,
yeah.
As long as it doesn't replace people.
Yeah. I don't think it'll. I don't think it will right now. I don't know
depending on what
it'll be like in 10 years, but it's definitely a fantastic tool if you use it properly. It could really help you. And it's a lot of fun too to just mess around with.
Yeah, like Dan said, I had like a million variations of story, and every time I made one, I was just like, oh, like I was reading a book. It's like, what kind of variation is this? Like,
there's still some stuff in there that there's still some stuff in there that needs to be worked out. I kept on trying to do some stuff with The Office, and then I would put in certain phrases I wanted it to say, and it would do it, but then it would do it at weird moments. Like, I'd be like, hey, I want you to say, Kevin talk about chili, or I want this. And then I would always put in just like, I want somewhere you must use the phrase, you're not Jim, Jim's not Asian. And every time it did it in the weirdest moment. And I was like, it had nothing to do with what was going on.
It just slapped it in the middle.
Dude, literally, like there's one scene where I was like, zombie office or whatever. Somebody comes in and Angela's like, I don't know, I just want to protect my cat. And Oscar's like, listen, Angela, you're not Jim. Jim's not Asian. We need to get out of this office. Like, what the fuck was that?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's fun to just fuck around with. Go check out ChatGPT. Thank you for listening to Los Wise Guys podcast. If you like what you hear, follow us on social media. Let's subscribe, share, rate, review. Go check us out on YouTube. Thank you for listening. Have a great week.